A scratch can make a perfectly good car look neglected in seconds. One careless shopping cart, one branch along a narrow road, or one dirty towel dragged across the paint can leave a bright line that seems impossible to ignore. Many owners assume every scratch means repainting. Others attack the mark with whatever polish happens to be nearby. The surprising truth is that several completely different forbidden tricks can make scratches disappear because not every scratch is actually the same kind of damage. That distinction is where professional paint correction begins. Modern automotive paint is usually built in layers. Beneath everything sits metal or plastic. Above that comes primer, then colored base coat, and finally a transparent clear coat that provides gloss and much of the protection. Most everyday scratches never reach the color layer. They live inside that clear coat. This matters because a scratch is not always missing paint. Sometimes it is simply a tiny valley cut into the transparent surface. Light hits the damaged area, reflects from the uneven edges, and makes the line appear white. When those edges are leveled, softened, or temporarily filled, the scratch can become dramatically less visible without adding any new paint. That is why the first category of forbidden fixes is polishing compound. Products such as Magyar's Scratch X, 3M scratch removers, and other fine automotive compounds rely on microscopic abrasives. Those particles remove an extremely thin layer of clear coat surrounding the defect. The scratch itself does not rise. The surrounding surface is lowered until the difference becomes much harder for light to reveal. It sounds aggressive, but professional paint correction is based on the same idea. A heavily swirled black hood can look gray under sunlight because thousands of microscopic scratches scatter light. A polishing machine and carefully selected compound can restore deep reflections by leveling those defects. The transformation looks like fresh paint, even though the original paint remains. But polishing is only one trick. Another category uses fillers rather than abrasion. Glazes and some scratch-hiding products contain oils, resins, or polymers that settle into fine defects. Instead of permanently leveling the clear coat, they temporarily change the way light passes across the scratch. This can produce an impressive result on shallow swirls. But before we keep going, I need to tell you something real quick. My son bet me I'd never hit 1,000 subscribers. He says I'm too old for YouTube and that nobody wants to watch a guy my age. So if this video is helping you out, hit that subscribe button and help me shut him up at the dinner table. All right, let's get back to it. A dark car covered in fine wash marks can suddenly look glossy because the tiny valleys are less visible once they contain a transparent or oily material. The effect is similar to a scratched phone screen looking clearer when wet. Water fills the microscopic grooves and reduces the contrast that makes them visible. The important difference is durability. A polished defect has physically changed. A filled defect can return as the product washes away. That does not make glaze useless. Show cars, older paint, and vehicles with very thin clear coat sometimes benefit from appearance improvement without aggressive material removal. Then comes one of the cheapest tricks in the entire scratch world: ordinary automotive wax. Wax cannot repair a deep scratch, yet it can make very light marks appear smaller because it fills tiny imperfections and increases surface gloss around them. When reflections become more uniform, the eye notices the defect less. Modern synthetic sealants and ceramic-infused waxes can create a similar visual effect while leaving longer-lasting protection.
There is also the famous toothpaste trick. Toothpaste gained attention online because certain traditional formulas contain mild abrasives. Those abrasives can affect extremely shallow marks in clear plastic and sometimes very light paint defects. The idea is not completely imaginary. It is simply crude compared with a product engineered for automotive clear coat. Different toothpastes contain different abrasives, whitening agents, gels, and additives. That inconsistency is exactly why professionals prefer dedicated compounds. A scratch remover has a predictable cutting ability. Bathroom products do not. Another misunderstood trick involves heat. Videos sometimes show scratches disappearing after hot water or a heat gun is applied. That can work on certain unpainted plastics because heat can relax deformed material and change the way a scuff looks. On automotive paint, however, heat does not magically rebuild missing clear coat. Excessive temperature can soften paint, distort plastic panels, or create permanent damage. The dramatic videos usually involve plastic rather than true paint scratches. When two painted objects rub together, material from one surface can transfer onto the other. A white streak on a dark bumper may look like the car has been cut through to primer, when part of that white line is actually foreign paint sitting on top. Detailers often recognize this because the mark has color that does not match the layers underneath the vehicle's finish. Once transferred material is removed, the apparent scratch can shrink dramatically, revealing only a much smaller defect below. This is why evaluating depth matters more than choosing a miracle bottle. Clear coat scratches can often be improved through polishing. Very shallow swirls may respond to finishing polish, glaze, wax, or combination products. Paint transfer can sometimes be reduced without repainting, but once a scratch cuts through the clear coat and base color, chemistry cannot recreate missing paint. That is where touch-up products enter. Touch-up paint is not really a scratch remover. It is controlled replacement material. Small stone chips and narrow scratches that expose primer or metal can become much less obvious when matching color fills the missing area. Manufacturers sell paint pens, small bottles, and kits matched to factory paint codes for exactly that reason. The result depends heavily on the damage. A tiny chip can almost disappear from normal viewing distance. A long, deep key scratch may still be visible because matching color does not automatically recreate the perfectly flat factory finish surrounding it. Almost any car can have scratches improved, but no single method removes every scratch. The correct trick depends on what the line actually is. One car may need a finishing polish, another may benefit from a stronger compound. A third may only have paint transfer. An older vehicle with fragile paint may look better with a glaze. A deep scratch may need touch-up paint. Damage through primer may require professional refinishing. Products marketed as all-in-one scratch removers usually combine several ideas. Some contain abrasives for light correction, polishing oils for gloss, and fillers that hide whatever remains. That combination can create a dramatic before and after effect because several visual problems are being attacked at once. The chemistry is less mysterious than the marketing. The most surprising part is how little damage can create such an ugly mark. Clear coat is thin, and tiny changes in its surface can scatter enough light to make a black panel look destroyed. Correcting only a microscopic amount can completely change the appearance. That is the real forbidden trick. Not one miracle paste, not one household hack. The secret is identifying whether the mark needs leveling, filling, cleaning, protecting, or replacing missing color. Once scratches are separated into those categories, the intimidating white lines across a car become much easier to understand. Some are permanent, many are not, and the difference can sometimes be a small bottle of compound instead of an expensive trip to the paint shop.